Right, what's all this then? A 3,000-pound Range Rover? Well, strap yourselves in, because the news coming out of China is, frankly, a bit crackers. They've apparently decided that what the world really needs is a car that costs about the same as a medium-sized television. Yes, you heard that right. For a mere 3,000 quid or around $4,000 if you're across the pond, you can supposedly get your hands on a brand new motor. This isn't some sort of elaborate joke from a Christmas cracker, it's a genuine four-wheeled vehicle that you can, theoretically, drive. The mind boggles, doesn't it? It makes you wonder what corners have been cut, or perhaps what entire rooms have been left out of the design process. The initial reports are enough to make your tea come out of your nose. A car, looking suspiciously like a Range Rover that's been shrunk in a very hot wash, is being offered on websites like Alibaba. The manufacturer, a company called Nuoding New Energy Technology, sounds terribly official, doesn't it, is churning these things out. The art of inspired design. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, or rather, the miniature Range Rover in the room. The designers at Nuoding New Energy Technology haven't exactly strained their creative muscles, have they? They've clearly had a picture of a Range Rover Evoque, or perhaps a full-fat Vogue, pinned to their drawing board. And then it seems, they've played a game of spot the difference, but with the aim of making as few differences as possible, while using a photocopier set to 70% scale. The headlights, the grille, the taillights, even those silver bits of trim that scream premium or try to, they're all there, sort of. Upon closer inspection, however, the illusion begins to crumble faster than a biscuit in a hurricane. While it mimics the overall shape, the proportions are all a bit off. It's like seeing a celebrity impersonator who's got the wig right but forgotten the correct height or build. This Chinese creation is significantly smaller than the British icon it apes, measuring about 149 inches long. Right, so you've admired its unique exterior. What happens when you pluck up the courage to open the door and venture inside this budget-friendly box? Well, prepare for another round of surprises, some less pleasant than others. The first thing that might strike you, especially if you've ever been within a mile of an actual Range Rover, is the smell. It's that distinctive aroma of new and very enthusiastic plastics. Not the lovely scent of hand-stitched leather and polished burr walnut, oh no. This is more akin to unwrapping a new paddling pool on a hot day. Dominating the dashboard, in a valiant attempt to scream modern, is a large touchscreen display. Because of course no car in the 2020s is complete without a screen the size of a small television. There are even controls on the steering wheel, a feature that probably adds a whole 50 pounds to the manufacturing cost. However, reach out and touch anything, and the illusion of quality evaporates. The gear shifter console, for instance, feels like it might snap off in your hand if you engage drive with anything more than the gentlest of nudges. It's all a bit flimsy, a bit wobbly, a bit, well, cheap. Now let's get to the bit that really matters for any car, even one that costs less than a decent mountain bike. How does it go? Under the bonnet, or perhaps under the floor, given its electric nature, you won't find a thumping V8 or a sophisticated hybrid powertrain. Instead, this Chinese marvel is equipped with a 3,500-watt DC electric motor. For those of you not au fait with wattage, let me translate. That's about 4.7 horsepower. Yes, you read that correctly, less than 5 horsepower. My lawnmower boasts more oomph than that. Your average electric bicycle probably has a more potent motor. With such a heroic powerhouse propelling it, you can imagine the blistering performance. The top speed is reported to be around 50 kilometers per hour, which translates to a dizzying 30 or 31 miles per hour. Frankly, you could probably achieve a similar velocity on a particularly windy day with a good tailwind and a large umbrella. Overtaking maneuvers will need to be planned well in advance, possibly with the aid of a calendar and a team of strategic advisors. Hills? Well, hills will become your arch nemesis. Each incline a monumental challenge to be overcome with grim determination, and perhaps a bit of pushing from helpful passengers. Section 5. Putting it through its pace's real-world limitations. So, it's not exactly a rocket ship. But what's it like in the real world, assuming you can find a bit of real world where it's actually legal to drive it? In the United States, for example, this vehicle is not street legal, which rather puts a damper on its utility as, a car. It's more likely to be confined to private roads, gated communities, or perhaps very large back gardens. Think of it as a rather ostentatious golf cart, one that's had aspirations above its station and tried to dress up as something much grander. It's for cruising around the neighborhood, not conquering the M25. Some brave souls have apparently attempted to test its off-road capabilities, presumably for a laugh. The results, as you might imagine, were less than spectacular. This is not a vehicle designed to tackle the muddy fields of Britain or the rocky trails of Moab. It struggles with even basic off-road challenges. A slightly damp patch of grass could prove to be an insurmountable obstacle. The idea of taking it green laning is frankly hilarious. Section 6. So, who's actually buying this thing? The target punter and viability. Right, let's ponder the crucial question, who on God's green earth is the target market for a 3,000-pound Chinese Range Rover impersonator with the performance of a milk float? It's certainly not your traditional Land Rover buyer, is it? The chap who spends upwards of 100,000 pounds on a real Range Rover is unlikely to be swayed by something that costs less than his annual subscription to a shooting magazine. He's buying into a brand, a heritage, a level of luxury and capability that this little electric box simply cannot and does not pretend to offer. So we can rule out the country set and the captains of industry. The manufacturer, or at least those who've reviewed it, suggest it's suitable for cruising around neighborhoods or gated communities. This paints a picture of a very specific and rather limited use case. Perhaps it's for well-to-do tweens who want something a bit more stylish than a Segway to zip around their parents' sprawling estate. Or maybe it's for retirement villages where the speed limits are low and the desire for a bit of automotive theater is high. It's a stylish alternative to a golf cart, as some have put it, which is probably the most accurate description we've had so far. It's a vehicle for very short, very slow, and very visible journeys. Section 7. China's car market mayhem, a sign of things to come? Now, this little 3,000-pound electric runabout doesn't exist in a vacuum. It arrives at a time when the Chinese automotive market itself is undergoing some rather dramatic convulsions. It's a bit like a volcano that's been rumbling for a while and is now starting to spew out some rather unexpected things. For instance, reports from late 2024 indicated that around 4,000 franchised car dealerships in China were expected to close their doors for good that year. That's a colossal number, far higher than in previous years, and it signals some serious underlying problems in the world's largest car market. What's causing this dealership apocalypse, you ask? Well, it's a perfect storm of factors. Firstly, there's an intensifying price war raging in China's new car market. Manufacturers are slashing prices left, right, and center to try and shift metal, putting immense pressure on dealership profit margins. Secondly, there's a significant and rapid shift in consumer demand away from traditional petrol and diesel-powered vehicles and towards electric vehicles, or EVs as the cool kids call them. Dealerships heavily invested in selling old-school internal combustion engine cars are finding themselves stuck with forecourts full of unwanted stock. This seismic shift towards EVs is transforming the entire automotive landscape in China. The government has been pushing EVs hard with subsidies and incentives, and Chinese consumers have embraced them with gusto. Section 8. More than just a knockoff, broader industry tremors. While it's easy to dismiss this particular 3,000-pound creation as a mere novelty, a cheeky Range Rover knockoff with limited appeal, its existence and the trend it represents could send some significant tremors through the global automotive industry. It's a stark reminder that Chinese manufacturers are capable of producing vehicles at astonishingly low price points. Even if this specific car isn't a world beater, the underlying capability to design, tool up, and manufacture something so cheaply is a factor that established automakers cannot afford to ignore. It's a shot across the bows. Think about the potential impact on entry-level markets. Not just in developing countries, but even in more established economies where affordability is a key concern. If Chinese companies can refine these ultra-low-cost platforms, improve the quality even marginally, and ensure they meet basic safety and regulatory standards, they could unleash a wave of budget EVs that could dramatically undercut existing offerings. Imagine a small, functional electric city car for, say, 7,000 or 8,000 pounds. That would be a game-changer for many people, making electric mobility accessible to those currently priced out of the market. This isn't just about cheap electric cars either. Section 9. The final verdict, game changer, or just a bit of a laugh? So, what's the final verdict on China's 3,000-pound electric car? Is it a genuine game changer, or just a gimmick? The truth lies somewhere in between, leaning towards a bit of a laugh. It's unlikely to conquer the world, but it's a symptom of China's rise in the electric vehicle sector.